Aloha, and you're tuned in to Roll With Us Radio. My name is Lela, and I am coming to you straight from the 808 state of Hawaii. And this is another segment of Humble Ambition. Today's segment of Humble Ambition is called Soar Upward Upon the Wings of Aspiration. Be fearless in the loftiest of possibilities. So self-love is great. Spirituality is awesome because God is faithful. But what are you gonna do when your world is crumbling around you? Said the person that is happening to right now. That is what's going on with me. As you know, I only speak, and I can only speak of self and my own experience. So, this is what's happening. I shared about my journey with my self-love and how this is a quick recap so nobody gets lost, right? A quick journey of my self-love and how God has revealed his how God has removed the veil off of my my eyes to see the true thing that I didn't see when it came to the guy that I supposedly thought was supposed to be my forever, and he wasn't. And so in return, released all the shackles that I self-inflicted on myself, on my heart, and it opened my heart to allowing the joy and allowing myself to feel joy and love, because I mean, like I said, I'm gonna continue to emphasize on self, right? When I sit here and I emphasize on self, it's because I can only share my story. I'm not trying to act as if I know any better. I can only share from my experience what I've been through. And if it helps anybody out there, then I'm glad it does. I can give you a perspective on how my life works and how God has been awesome in mine, and how what I've learned and the research that I go through, because I like to dig up things to help me and to soothe me and to become elevated in my spirituality and my mental state. If I don't understand something because I feel so conflicted, because God weighs on me in my heart, I'm that kind of person that can't sleep. From an early age, my mom instilled the fear of God into me. So I would always condemn myself, which is not something good for a child to be, but that was just something that I was raised, because I don't know why, but I'm glad I was, and I was reflecting on that when I was doing my morning swim. And I'm glad my mama was like that. I know some people are gonna have opinions about that, but I love my mama for that. Now that I'm older, I didn't understand it back then, but I love my mama for that, and I appreciate her for that. And I resented her when I was younger for the way she raised me, but today when I was swimming, I thank God for a woman like my mama and the way she raised me and why she raised me different, and I understood why, and I love my mama, and I couldn't thank my mama anymore, and I appreciate, and I literally thank God for my mama today, because now I know why she raised me the way she raised me. And I always thought, why does my mama hate me? Why did she? But God always has a reason. And now I know why my mom raised me different. My mama was always unfair to me, and now I see why. Okay. So I was saying, I can't speak for anybody else. I can only speak for self. So keep in mind, what I'm sharing is from self-experience. Okay? So, I was saying that, so, God lifted the veil, and I knew love, or what I thought my perception of love was, because since the 4th grade, I wanted nothing but this guy that I fell in love with. And so when we reconnected, and you know, he had the same feelings as me, you know, I moved not heaven and earth, but I moved everything to be with this guy. I for the first time in my life, I told myself I wasn't going to say no to anything. I wasn't going to do the what ifs. Because all my life, I stayed in the black and white of everything. I feared my mama. I feared everybody. I did what was right. I stayed in the guidelines of what my life was supposed to be. I was a good girl. But when it came to him, I wasn't going to be the good girl. I was going to do what Lela wanted to do. For the first time in my life, when it came to the guy that I loved, and it was him, since 4th grade, I was going to do Lela for the first time in my life, and I did. I was going to be selfish. When it came to Preston, I was going to be selfish, and I did. And I gave it my all, because I wasn't going to regret it. If I was going to love, I was going to love him all, and I did. And I don't... And I did. I did. I got my heart broken. I had the biggest blessing of my life. I had the most ultimate love of my life. I had the biggest gain of my life. Everything that can happen in my life happened in one era of my life. The awakening of my life happened in this relationship. The heartbreak of my life happened in this relationship. The biggest loss in my life happened in this relationship. The heartbreak happened in this relationship. Everything happened in this relationship. And I thought I got over it. It's been 4 years since our breakup, and I thought I got over it. After the breakup, I wasn't angry. I'm the one that actually broke up with him. I actually asked God to help me break my own heart and walk away. because I loved him enough to see him happy, even if it wasn't with me, because I realized that he wasn't for me. I realized that God was trying to tell me to walk away and let go. It took me about a month to realize that, and I took a trip and I packed my bags and took like a whole month trip to meditate on it and ask God to give me the strength to walk away. And he did, and I came back and I had to save money, and I did what I did, and it was so hard to like stay in that house and long suffering, and oh my gosh, it was long suffering. You have no idea. But it was nothing but long suffering, and trying to buckle down to save money to get out of there, and find a way to just because I couldn't go back to my family, because I chose him over my family. Remember, I said I was going to be selfish for the first time in my life, and I chose him over my family. And I did. I chose him over my family, so I was selfish. And I have to go back after I asked God to give me the strength to leave him, to help me break my own heart and leave him. I had to buckle down, and I had to sell whatever I could, because he wasn't going to help me. I had to sell whatever I could to save money to get enough plane fare to pack up what I could for me and my son, and to get us out of there, because he wasn't trying to help us. So it took me roughly about a month to sell whatever I could, and I did. It was hard. At the same time, he came and came home and acted as if we weren't there. And he would go see the other girl. My heart was breaking. Yeah, of course my heart was breaking. He's the guy that I said I was still in love with him. I loved him since 4th grade. He would come home on the weekends. Like, he would leave me and my son there on the weekends with nothing. And he would go spend time with that new girl and act as if me and my son wasn't there. And then when it didn't work out, and so I would call and I'd swallow my pride, and I'd call my siblings, my sister-in-law, to pick us up, and try to, if find an excuse to visit my family and say I just wanted to spend time with them. Just so I can spend some time with them. Just so, you know, I wouldn't seem so, I don't know. Just so, well, let's just be realistic here. Just so, my son could eat. Let's just be honest. They didn't know anything that was going on. They had no idea what was going on because, of course, my pride back then, I couldn't tell them that, that I allowed my selfishness to, make stupid decisions for myself. And, he did not care if we were eating or not, or, he just left and did his own thing. And, for me, I had to do, as a mom, do what I had to do to make sure that my son was eating. So, I put my pride on the side, and, I practiced humility, called my sister-in-law, and, came back to my family, and, came back to my mom, because I knew no matter what, nobody owns this house but my mom, and as long as this lady is living, I can still come back to this house, and nobody can tell me no. Because as long as my mom has breath in her body, nobody can tell me I can't come through this gate. Even though she's not of sound mind, I still have mercy. And that was my only favor. So I came, and the only comfort I had is that my baby brother was here. And so nobody knew, but I confided in my baby brother. And, I came here, and my son would eat. I'd sleep over. But then if things wouldn't work out, he'd call. He's like, oh, what are you guys doing? Sleeping? Yeah, he's like, oh, can you bring my son home? What are you doing? Oh, nothing. I just felt like coming home. Because things weren't working out for him and that girl, so he wanted to see his son. So it was only when it was convenient for him, he wanted to be a dad. So it was that kind of deal. But, yeah, so anyway, so what I'm trying to say is this. Well, God is great. And then God lifted the veil, right? So the rough draft is this. So, with self-love, God lifted this veil. And he showed me, while he lifted this veil, that he opened my heart to he made my heart sensitive. He didn't just open my heart. What he did was he was prepping me. And now that I see thus far, I don't know how far he's taken me. I only know just thus far. Okay? Now stay up. Like I really need you guys to just kind of catch up right now. Okay, so thus far, this is where it's at. Because I thought he was taking me like that far, like 3 weeks ago. But no. Like he's like we're like way far, like way. So that was 3 weeks ago, okay? And I was like, oh my God, God is so awesome, yeah. I'm happy. No. So, lift the veil. And I'm like happy. I'm like, I love everybody. Oh my God. I'm so full of love. Love tastes delicious. I'm loving on everybody. Blessing everybody. Loving my siblings. I'm getting up in the morning. Starting doing, loving on everything. Speaking love. And then God starts telling me, you need to start putting your love in motion. So I start putting my self-love in motion by start putting a regimen together. God is a God of order. So I start putting order. So I'm putting order in order, right? And then all of these things are coming at me. Like, all of it. Like, one by one, okay? My brother starts coming at me. And I vented about it on my podcast. Okay. So throughout my podcast, I start telling people what to do with self-love. Okay? Like a routine. Make your routine. Self-love is this. Self-love is that. Routine, take care of yourself. Clean out all the clutter. Everything. And then people start coming at me. And now it was like deep. Like my big brother accused me of like being inappropriate and like that deep. Like way left field. Like soul damaging, like break your heart, like break your soul down, kind of like talk about a black cloud like striking thunder in your soul, like that kind of that deep. Okay, now are you guys? I just got a question. Did you guys feel how deep, dark that was? Like that's how dark it was. Okay. That was 3 weeks ago. Okay, catch up. Alright, we're good. Okay, so 3 weeks ago. So last week, my baby sister. Okay. So I'm like, it's okay. The devil's a liar. It's okay. And I start praising God even more. I'm like, God got me. God is awesome. God is great. God is good. So I keep doing the self-love thing. And I start implementing health, right? So I start digging deep in my health. So I start taking time in my body, right? So I start exercising. And God starts telling me that, Lela, your self-love includes your body, because you're nothing to me without your body. Because the most important thing to me is your body. How are you going to save souls without your body? How are you going to save souls without your body? Like, a lot of people think, like, I mean, this again, it's just me, but like, what is the most important thing, like, to God? People are going to say your soul. Like, while you're on earth, what is the most important thing to God? While you're on earth. Okay, emphasize. While you're on earth, the question is, while you are on earth, what is the most important thing to God? To you. On you. Answer. Your body. Why? Because that's how you save souls. God needs you to save souls. He needs you healthy. He needs you to go out there and do the work of an evangelist. Go out there and speak his word. Go out there and speak life. Go out there and tell your story. Be a testimony. Testify to how good he is in your life so that people can come unto him and know how good he is through you. You ain't good to him dead. Hence, be mindful. Be diligent of what you put in your body. I know. And they're like, oh my God, she's talking. She has lupus. I know. I know. God knows. I'm not God. You're not God. Only God is God. There is only one Alpha, one Omega. He is the beginning and he is the end. I know. But you ain't good to him dead. He needs you to go out there and evangelize, like be an evangelist. Speak life. Save souls. How are you going to be, oh, God is good, and you're sick on the hospital bed? I'm not saying that. I mean, you know what? I'm not even saying anything else. Like, I'm not even saying, no, I'm like, saying that you can't glorify God when you're sick. Because I know God is good no matter where you are. But I'm saying this. In the Bible, it says, your body is a temple. Lord, forgive me if you take what I'm saying offensively. But this is my perspective, not anybody else's. And I humbly come before you and I ask you to forgive me if you're taking this offensively. Because sister or brother, I'm not trying to offend you. This is my perspective and this is my story and this is my journey. And this is what I'm sharing. This is my truth. This is my testimony. This is how God works. My God works in me. And how he's been working in me. And how he is still working in me. This is my truth. So God tells me, little, your self-love doesn't just work with just loving you. You cannot honor me by just loving you. You gotta work, you know what I mean? So I'm like, what? You know? So I started working out. Like going swimming. Like I gotta take care of me, right? So I got, okay, swimming. You know, small stuff at a time. Because I'm a fluffy girl, yo. You know? And first thing is tell your truth. Like to yourself. Don't over exaggerate yourself. You know what I mean? You better hurt your feelings before somebody else hurt yourself. And that's another thing. Hurt your feelings before you hurt yourself, before anybody else does. Self-love is self-truth. Self-truth is self-love. When you start self-loving yourself, do yourself a favor. Because people are going to come at you, and people are going to be truthful, whether you like it or not. So before they are truthful to you, be truthful to yourself. Like, be brutally honest with yourself. Because people are cruel with no intentions, bruh. They're going to come at you guns blazing, even if you don't ask them to. And they're going to come, and they're like, with oh my gosh. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you this. You might as well do it for yourself. Okay. Are we caught up? Okay. Okay, so wow. all of this is happening, my 10-year-old, my 10-year-old, my 10-year-old starts acting out of pocket out of nowhere. Like, he starts doing some tedious things, like here I am. I'm like, loving on everybody. God's like loving on me. I'm appreciating my sons, like literally, like appreciating them, telling every drop of the dime, I love you guys. Spending every free moment I have with them, appreciating them. And for the love of me, I go to his parent-teacher conference. You know, mind you, we just had an award. I get a call from my brother. Oh, your son's getting an award. Mind you, I cut off all my phone service because I shut off the world because they were too much for me. The world was getting too much drama for me. And by choice, I don't want a phone. Anyways, so I get a call. My son's getting an award. Well, I'm like, yay, PJ's doing great in school. And I couldn't be prouder. Okay? So, that was one day. Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Wednesday. And then, Wednesday come around, we go and get this award. PJ comes home and goes like this. Mom. Oh, yeah, son. He goes, I got a parent-teacher conference. I said, when is your parent-teacher conference? He goes, I don't know. We'll find out. I said, they don't tell you when parent-teacher conferences are now? He goes, no. She said it's this week, though. Sometime after school. I said, wow. I said, that's funny. I said, when I was in school, I said, they usually give us a paper. And they usually tell the parents when to come after school or what day to come and what time to come. I goes, should I call the school? He says, no, Mom. She said to just come on Friday after school. I said, you don't tell me what time? He says, no, but I can ask her after school tomorrow. I said, oh, okay. So Thursday come by. Be there. Yeah, Mom. Your teacher tell you what time Mommy's going to be there tomorrow? Oh, no, Mom. She said just come over there right after school. I said, are you sure? Because, Mommy really wants to go to your cousin's volleyball game. That's their championship game. He's like, yeah, Mom. I said, it starts at 5. He's like, yeah, Mom. She said right after school on Friday. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah, Mom. She said right after school. So she still didn't give you a paper? He said, yeah. I said, you tell her I need a paper? Yeah. Okay. Friday comes. PJ, did you ask her what time? He says, yeah, Mom. Did she give you a time? He goes, Mom, she still didn't give me a time, but she said just come right after school. She's gonna see us. Okay. Now I'm losing it. Like, this is the kind of mama I am. Let me tell you, this is the kind of mama. I'm that kind of mama that, like, your kid, they have like a reading standard in school. And, here's an example. So, I used to work at the school, And I hold my son at a standard. And I'm the mama that would beat his ass. And if somebody called the cops because I'm child abusing my kid, I would beat my kid in front of the cop. And I would show him a Bible. And if I go to court, I would take the Bible to court. And I would plead that to the judge. And then I would bring the history out of my son and tell them exactly what my son's history is and how I have my son in my life and the history of his life and the history of his real parents and how his life was before me and how his life is now. And then I would bring all the people that is influenced in his life and how he knew and how they knew him from before his life before me. BL and AL, before Lela and after Lela, so that way the judge knows exactly the change that I did in his life, so that way he knows how important sparing the rod is in this kid's life. That's the kind of parent I am, because I was raised by my mama. That's exactly how my mama is. And I know some of you are like, oh my God, she's so extra. No. Because that's how I am with this kid. I taught him how to write. I taught him how to read. I taught him his colors. I taught him how to wipe his ass. I taught him how to brush his teeth. I taught him how to change his underwear. I taught him how... Yo, you have no idea. This kid didn't even come out of my vagina. I had to fix a broken kid. So, for anybody to have an opinion on that, please email me, rollwithusradio@gmail.com. So, I'm that parent. So her standard for my son is not my standard. I will not allow my son to be a victim of his circumstance, because that is happening, or that happened to him. He's not what happened to him. He is who he chooses to be. His story is not going to make him. He is what he's going to be. And that's what I'm trying to make his mindset to be. He's not going to be that. I need him to think bigger than that. So, the whole time I went over there Friday. So I'm driving over there. I'm still mad. Like, I'm not even mad. I'm just more like, oh my God, this teacher, like the nerve of her, and I'm thinking like injustice, right? Like, oh, so she doesn't think my son is important, to get a piece of paper, and I'm thinking like that, right, in my head, because anytime something doesn't happen like that for my son, that automatically I'm thinking, oh what? She doesn't think my son is important for her to take the time to write a piece of paper so he can get, automatically my brain is like that with my son. All right. So, but my son, it doesn't click. Like PJ, it doesn't click. And my son's dad always tells my son's dad, like, yo, you do know your mama's like a freaking loaded shotgun, right? Stop doing that. Like, if you go to school, you make sure you tell your teacher, you make sure you bring it back home to your mama, because your mama's like a loaded shotgun. And he doesn't get it yet. Now, he's in the 4th grade, and his dad literally tells him every year, PJ, you go to school, you better make sure you communicate with your teacher how crazy your mama is, because your mama's going to go to the school and beat your teacher's butt. And it's been that way. But it ain't, because I'm so, like, ever since I got this kid, I'm so protective And it's not because of anything else. My heart hurts for this kid. Because my first impression of this kid, like my first, how do I explain this? You know I'm gonna cry. I didn't want to cry. My first, oh God, I didn't want to cry. I didn't want to cry. Well, I'm crying. My first instinct for PJ was protection. Protection, safe, love. And security. And the sad part is, even from his dad, I was blinded that first day by my love that I had for his dad. But now that I look back on that first day, that first hug was for me. He came to me. He didn't go to his dad. He came to me on my bed, and he hugged me first before he hugged his dad. But that was my first impression. Security, love, protection. And it stuck with me, with this kid. Because upon losing my own, he not only filled the void, he will not replace my son, because I will always, always love my Paxton. Paxton is Paxton, that's mine. He's part of me. There is no replacement for Paxton. Paxton sits in my heart, in my soul, in a place where only God dwells. That's where my son sits. Nobody can replace my son. But PJ, came in my life And it's only because Paxton was at peace with it. And he allowed me to love on his brother. You should see how easy it was for me. And if Paxton wasn't good with it, I wouldn't be able to love on his brother. I wouldn't. If a soul wasn't happy with it, if an angel wasn't happy with it, he wouldn't allow me to do it. But because my son was at peace, and he was at home with his father, he was at peace with me, loving on his brother. And I told this kid, I may not have bring your brother home, but I can make a home for you. With every single fiber in my heart, I meant it. I don't know what, and I don't know who, but I know God. The timing, the events, bruh, it was just too perfect how it happened. Nobody can tell me any other different. I don't care who played it, who says it, and how they even bring it. It happened. That kid was next door the exact time I came home and his dad moved in. And I was living in Vegas. Everything happens for a reason. God's timing. I don't care who says I was rushing to get home, you shouldn't have came home, you shouldn't have gotten pregnant. No. God knew what was going to happen at what time, and he knew the decision I was going to make before I even made it. He knew I was going to be foolish. He knew how I was. He knew that kid was crying for a mama. He knew I was going to lose my son. He knew this was going to happen. But just because he knew, it doesn't mean God can change it. Listen to what I'm saying with this, because people like to mix things up. Just because God knows, it doesn't mean God can change. There is this thing called free will, and we talked about this in the last podcast, and I keep explaining this thing to people because people like to misconstrue things, and people like to say, oh, but how come God, if God knew, then how come God couldn't stop it? You know what, please. And this is what I'm gonna say. With self-love, God is making me do stuff like health and mind and spirituality and everything else. Strengthen your mind, Lala. Strengthen your body, Lala. Strengthen your emotions. You have no idea. I'm getting woke. So, if God knew, right? That's the question, right? God knew why he never stopped him. Because there's this thing called free will. And when free will stepped in, right? Sidetrack. You know why? Because people like to test my God. And I don't like when people go to question my God. Because my God is awesome. And my God is faultless. And my God is almighty. And he is perfect in all his ways. He is blameless. So, what was I talking about? So there was this thing called free will in Genesis. When God gave man free will, to rule over everything, yeah? And then there's this thing called the fall of man. You guys remember the fall of man? So, the fall of man was in Genesis, the chapter 3, right? Fall of man is a term used in Christianity to describe the transition of the first man and woman from a state of innocent obedience to God and a state of guilty disobedience. So, it's in the Genesis chapter 3 when Satan, the serpent, enticed Eve to eat the apple of knowledge, right? And she offered it to Adam, who then ate the apple. Okay. And because there's free will, and God gives you the will to choose, that's why He doesn't stop it. God gives you dominion to do what your hearts desire. He is not a dictator. God is a God of love. God does not make you do anything. So when people kill people, it's not God doesn't kill people. People kill people. People hate on people. God doesn't cause anything. So don't misconstrue what people do with what God does. God represents love. God represents peace. If you choose to follow God, He's asking you to choose to follow love. He's asking you to follow the example of Him, which is Jesus Christ, who is Him that came into man, because He came into the flesh through a human being that came through Eve as flesh, as an example for you and I to be. But still, free will. And still, He suffered as a human. He could have did that as God, but He did it as a human. For you and I. But He completed His promise. Each and every single one of them. In the beginning, in Genesis, when He told the devil, I promise you that your demise will be at the feet of the one that comes from her, that you betrayed. That the seed of that you betrayed will step on your head. That who Satan betrayed was Eve. That came from her was who? Mary. That who came from Mary was who? Jesus. That who stepped on His head in the Garden of Gethsemane was who? Jesus. Who stepped on whose head? Satan. Get woke. Free will. But I'm saying, just because God knew, or Jesus knew, He couldn't stop it. It was my free will. But things happen for a reason. We make choices. But lessons are learned. We grow. Ignorance is when we choose evil from good. So, are we all caught up? Okay. So I go and I'm thinking, okay, she's doing injustice to my son because she doesn't want to give my son the pepper. So we drive to the school and I said, PJ, did she tell you what time? And he goes, Mom, she still never gave me the pepper. So I go to the classroom, and I'm like, she goes, hi. I don't want to shake her hand. And Lord, forgive me for this because I was being really, really rude. And she's like, PJ's conference is not until, and it was like 1 o'clock. She says, PJ's conference is not until 3 o'clock. I took off my glasses and I said, excuse me? She says, PJ's conference is not until 3 o'clock. I said, no. He said that you said to come right after school. This is right after school. And I've been asking him for a paper for 2 weeks. And he said you never gave him a paper. And I've been asking him for 2 weeks, all the way until today. She says, oh no, I gave him a paper. I said, no. He said you never gave him one. PJ. Oh, miss, you never gave me a paper. And I was like, PJ. She said she gave you a paper. She's like, no, PJ, I gave you a paper. I said, she's like, no. PJ's like, no, Mom. You never gave me a paper, miss. You never gave me a paper. I said, whatever. What time can I get in? She's like, you can come in if the next parent's there. I was like, well, wait. So we sit down. I'm waiting. I'm in quiet. And I'm thinking to myself, either she's lying. And I know my son better not be lying to me. So we're sitting. The next family goes in. And I'm sitting to myself. And I'm thinking to myself, Lord, please don't let me find out that my son is lying to me. So I turn around and I ask my son, Picha, did she give you a paper? He says, no, Mom. Okay. You sure? He's like, yes, Mom. All right. Okay. So she didn't give you a paper. He's like, yep. She didn't give me a paper, Mom. I said, okay. When we get inside out, you better make sure that she didn't give you a paper. You better check your backpack. When we go home, you better check your backpack because you know how I am. He's like, I promise, Mom. She didn't give me a... I was like, all right, PJ. Because she's going to lose her job. Because when I get inside out, I'm going to make sure I take her job. Because when I was in school, if a teacher doesn't know her responsibilities, I'm going to make sure that I take her job. Because obviously she doesn't know how to do her job. Because Mommy has a schedule. And if she conflicts with my schedule, obviously she needs to go back to school. And he was like, he's quiet. And he's like, Mom. And I said, no. I said, so when we get inside, I'm going to tell her. And I was like, obviously she doesn't know how to do her job. So when we get in there, PJ, you better, Mommy's going to fight for you all the way. And she's going to lose her job. He's like, Mom, she gave me the pepper, but she only gave me once. I turned around and looked at my son and I backhand my son. Don't you ever lie to me. Don't you ever lie to me. And he starts crying. My son cried. My son cried like a drama queen because people were looking. People were looking. And this one lady goes like this. I said yes. She says, I said yes. Like I literally said yes. She's like, excuse me. I said yes. I'm still looking at her. And my son's crying. I said yes. And PJ's crying. I said, PJ. She says, yes, Mom. I said, why are you crying? He didn't say nothing. He's still crying. I told him this. Tell her the whole truth. And she goes, excuse me? I said, tell her the whole truth, PJ. Since she wants to be nosy, tell her the whole truth. My mom hit me because I lied to her about a paper. I said, no. Tell her the whole truth. Not your truth, the whole truth. My mom, no. The whole truth. No. Am I your mom? This lady, no. The lady that's taking care of you, where's your mom? My mom is, and then he told her the whole truth. And this lady's face looked at me and says, oh my God. God bless you for taking in this kid. I said, how long did I have you, PJ? 5 years. This lady's face and her tone changed real quick. Like, real quick. And she was like that. And she was like, boy, you should appreciate this lady and not lie to her like that. I said, you see how people are and they like to judge? And I told PJ, you see how you like to play? I said, you see how you like to play the role? So anyways. So I go to school and I find out PJ's playing the favor. Like he's being manipulative in school. And the teacher thinks that she's doing him a favor by allowing him to be manipulative. So she's like, oh, so he's not as bad as the other kids. So she thinks, if I let him get one over, he'll be okay. But what PJ was banking on was, okay, if she don't tell my mother this one, maybe I can get away with this one. Because PJ knows how to work it, Because PJ, cute in the face, right? So, if he be cute in the face, like the devil. Like, you can be cute in the face and smile and then use the excuse of, I just feel sad today. Manipulation, yeah? And so PJ was using that. And she was giving into it. But what she didn't realize is the lady that was being her assistant teacher is a really close friend of mine. And she sent me an email. So I knew PJ's actions. And so I beat PJ's ass to a straight A before he even could fail. And she got mad. And I called a quick conference with the principal. And that teacher got her ass. Before this parent-teacher conference happened. And that's how good God's favor is to me. See, God allows me to fix the right before anybody can go fix the wrong, make the bad. See, whatever the devil intended for bad, God makes good. God uses the bad for good. God got my back. So what PJ thought was going to be, okay, I can get away. No. You're still going to learn responsibility. So you know what? I took PJ out of boxing. What he loved. What I loved, because I wanted him to gain I wanted him to gain confidence. As much as that would glorify him, as much as God could be glorified through his boxing, because he could be somebody that God could speak through that. But he not humble enough yet. And I could see it. And God could see it. PJ still need work. I had no problem taking him away. PJ get talent. But not good enough. How good is talent if you don't know how to be humble? How good is talent if God cannot use you for speak him and you cannot be humble enough to bring yourself down to speak of him? Look at Max Holloway. He's so humble because God speaks through him. Nobody better to be talking smack about Max Holloway. He's still blessed. He's highly favored too. For real, highly favored. God love him, bro. Anyways, so that's why. Now I was asking God too, like, God, how's this kid? And this is how I talk to, like, that's exactly how I talk to God. Like how I talk to my dad. Like, God, how's this kid? Like, how are I gonna fix him? Like, I talk to him every day. Like, he hear me talking to you every day, and then this kid gonna act up in school like this. How's him? He gonna act like he don't hear me? So I taught PJ responsibility. And his boxing coach, what made it worse, his boxing coach is my cousin. So McShane, my cousin could be like, oh, what kind this? You don't have a rich kid. Give him lickings. Lickings means spankings, okay? So I made sure that I took PJ to my cousin's house and let PJ tell my cousin himself, teaching him responsibility. So, while that's happening, I start asking, like, oh my God. So I'm dealing with that at the same time. Like, I'm not thinking about anything else, right? I'm stressing on that, and I'm like, okay, and I'm still doing the whole. At night, I get into His Word. In the morning, I get up, and I'm still doing my schedule of waking up in the morning, breathing in, His grace, being thankful and being grateful for all that He does for me, all that He is, all that I am in Him, and doing my whole self-love thing, going to the beach, working on me, and then God tells me, you need to be woke. You need to expand your mind. Because your mind is allowing yourself to give in to these emotions. Because my emotions were my emotions were all over the place with the way things were with my older brother, my baby sister, the way PJ was. Like, it would just get me so, like, to a point where I was like 0 to 80. And I just, and, then, yeah. And so the new guy, right? He started messing with my mind to a point where, like, we'd have great conversation and then he'd disappear. We'd have a great connection. We'd have, like, he'd let down his walls and let me in, and then he'd disappear. And I'm like, wow. And I'm like, what in the heck? And And then all of a sudden, this Sunday, everything comes crashing down. And God gives me another awakening and says, you need to elevate yourself higher. And he lifts another veil from my eyes again. And he says, you guys want to hear it? I actually recorded myself. I actually told myself because nobody was here. Again. Nobody was here for me to listen to me. Because, I have no friends. Oh, and God starts speaking to me. And this is how I know I'm in alignment with him, is when he starts speaking to me through my devotion. Check this out. I'm going to tell you guys how I know I was going to stop. It's because God starts talking to me through my devotion. So, let me see my dates. I have my journal. So today, what is today's date? Look, I'm losing it. No, I'm not. I got it together. You know why? Because I got it. The 18th. Today's the 18th. Where's my journal? Oh, man, I left it in the car. Because I went to the beach and I wrote my journal. Today, 18th. So, the 18th, okay? So, I'm going to carry you guys with me because my calendar is on the door. And I'm, literally, looking at the door. But my back is facing the door. And I have all my books in the bed, and I'm like, okay. So let me face my calendar. I'll blow you guys' mind with affirmation. So 18, 1, 2, 3, 4 days ago. Okay, so 4 days. Man, I wish I had my journal so I can, the timeline. You guys are gonna trip. So, Sunday is when that thing happened. Yeah, Sunday is when that thing happened with my sister. Okay, Sunday is when that thing happened with my baby sister, and she don't bust an attitude with me. Okay, and then this is my Okay, so the thing with my brother happened on the 11th. That was the Thursday, the week before last, okay? And so after that, I was like, what? So 5 days ago, that was 5 days ago? Yeah. That was the 11th, okay? Okay, that was the 11th. So it happened on the 11th. And so the day after that, my devotion was this, alright, you guys? It says, to everything, there is a season. And I started crying. I cried in the morning. It says, to everything, there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. I believe one of first and foremost lesson God teaches his servant leaders is how to let go. Everyone starts with you won't always finish with you, and that's okay. Some of the people are in our life to help for a season, and then it is time for them to go, to move on into their purpose. Learn to let them go and bless them. Okay? That was after my brother said the whole thing that, that sometimes, you know, the way I am with my son PJ. Some people might take it as inappropriate. Okay, check that out. Okay, and then the whole thing about everything, and then, you know, the way they are, and then the next day was like this. When they came to the oasis, the water was too bitter to drink, and they came to a place called Mara, which means bitter. Okay. That right there was about when, you guys remember when Moses, okay, what are we drinking? They demanded. So Moses cried out to the Lord for help, and the Lord showed him a piece of wood. Moses threw it into the water, and they made the water to drink. The water good to drink. Exodus 15:23. Taste and see what I am good. Taste to see my plans are good. The bitterness in your mouth did not come from me. I will remove the bitter taste from their experiences. It's been like gall in your heart, but I am turning the bitter water sweet, and you will taste to see that I am good. You will feast on my love and my kindness and my goodness, and you will hide my word in your heart, and I will minister to the deep and hidden places, and in your soul rejoice. I am making your bitter water sweet, and of you will flow rivers of living water and bring healing to the nations, say the Spirit of the Lord. Okay, my devotion is that. Alright, but check this out. The timeline of this story is about the 40 days and 40 nights when God made those Israelites walk and travel because they were ungrateful. My devotion is about the bitterness and the way my siblings are treating me, and because they're being bitter to me, that if I keep his word in my heart, that if I continue to minister deep into my heart and hidden place in my soul, and rejoice that he is making their bitter words sweet, and out of it he flows living water and bring healing. That's what he's telling me. Okay, and then Sunday's devotion, when my sister was being a little butt and making me look stupid, like putting me down and stuff and making me look really stupid, because, you know, making sure that everybody knows that she's the boss of me. And mind you, I'm like completely 8 years older than her. She's like, this is my devotion. It says, above all, love one another deeply, because love covers over multitude of sins. It says, when penning his letter, I can imagine the Apostle Paul thinking of the conversation he had with Jesus, how many times he should forgive his brother. 7 times 7, Peter asked. Jesus said no, 70 times 7. I can imagine Peter remembering how Jesus had forgiven him for denying him 3 times. Later, Jesus responded, do you love me? Then feed my sheep. Peter had known the kind of love deeply that covers multitude of sin and all his wrong, and now he was encouraging his brothers and sisters in Christ to do the same. It is true that those who love most deeply have experienced the same love most deeply in their own lives with the Lord. I always knew God loved me, but I didn't know he loved me so much as he reached down and rescued me when I had fallen and placed me in the firm foundation. I didn't know the depths of love for me until I sinned in the way I never thought I would. He forgave me. Though I acknowledged of my sin, he treated me as though I didn't do wrong. That's why the power of love in Jesus is the kind of love that wins the lost souls. That was the devotion my sister did that to me. It says, Father, forgive me for not loving the way I should. Help me to love others deeply as you love me. Help me not to focus on people's sin, but to keep my eyes fixed on the cross. In Jesus' name, consider this, whoever turns a sinner from the error of his ways and saves his soul from death and cover over multiple sins. James 5:20. Hatred stirreth up strifes, but love covereth a sin. Proverbs 10:12. Whoever conceals an offense promotes love, but he who brings it up separates friends. Proverbs 17:12. 17:9. Sorry. Okay. And so, this is what happened, okay? So I was going, after that, I was still trouble. I was still going through my day, and then PJ starts doing what he was doing, okay? And I'm dealing with PJ. And then this comes on. And this is Monday. So, Monday happens, and I'm dealing with the whole PJ thing. And says, this is my devotion. It says, Father God, I take a moment to pray for your daughter who is reading this right now. Your love for her shall not ever know. She'll not ever know. You care about her deeply. I pray, Lord, you give her more understanding of your love, and I pray she comes to you. She comes to know how deep, how wide, how great your love is for her. In the name of Jesus, you love her when she was headed the wrong way. You loved her when she wasn't thinking about you at all. When she didn't feel she needed you, you still loved her. You loved her when she didn't love you back. You forgave her when you washed her and gave her new life in Christ. Now I pray that you reveal to her, even more to her, Father, about the power of your love and your mercy and your grace. Do for her what you've done for her countless over other women through the ages. Completely revolutionized her life and changed her from the inside out. Open her eyes to see better, her ears to hear you better. Open her heart to know you better in the name of Jesus, so that Christ may dwell in your heart through faith, that you begin being rooted and grounded in love. May you strengthen and comprehend with the saints what is beneath and the length and height and depth, and to know the love of Christ that surpasses the knowledge, that you may be filled with the fullness of God. Ephesians 3:17-19. Alright. When I read that, check this out what happens, okay? Tuesday comes around. And my sister on Sunday, on Monday, my baby sister does this whole thing about our business, that the business that we have. And she's like, you know what, that's it, I'm done. And she shuts it down without even consulting me, nothing. Like I had no part in it at all. Like she just shuts it down. And I told her, really? I said, so that's it? She's like, yep, I'm done, selfishly, And I was like, yeah, whatever. And so I just left it at that. So I was really angry at it, and this, and then I woke up the next morning, and this was my devotion that Tuesday morning, okay? And that Tuesday morning, this was my devotion. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. I shall be your strength. Isaiah 30:17. Growing up, weather a storm. It says, in quietness and in confidence, I shall be your strength. Okay? So, this is what happened Tuesday evening. So, Tuesday, my sister, I go and I do my regular thing. I get up in the morning, do my meditation, go to the beach, I do my exercise, take my son to school, do everything I do. I come home and my son says, "Hey mom, do you know you guys have a live today? Like a live marathon." And I'm like, "What?" And so I'm not rushing because I'm like, nobody told me. I do my radio broadcast, and and my son comes in. He's like, "Mom, Auntie Lisa said if you can watch Liam." I'm not gonna say no because that's my baby love. I love my nephews, so I'm watching Baby Love. At the same time, she has this shoe in, right, to take my place on the live. That never happens. But you know what? Oh well. So she has a shoe in that sits on the live the whole half of the day. And I'm in the room babysitting. So I'm like, okay, cool. So she's like, my son comes in like, "Oh, Mom, Auntie Lisa said come and get ready at 2:30. So I'm like, cool. I'm relaxing, enjoying it, doing the radio station. And then I finally get ready. I go downstairs. And I do the live with her. Everything's cool, And so we're doing it. Everything's flowing. Everything's cool, And my older sister gets on there, and she's like being really like bossy in this chat, like blow your nose. She's like, "Oh my God, like show the things," and I'm like, "Oh my God." I said, "I get it." I said, I'm reading your comments. I get it. And then my older brother comes on there and he's like, "Blow your nose," and I don't know if you guys notice this, but like, I'm cleansing. And so because I'm cleansing and I'm like, cleansing means I'm trying to flush my system out of all the unnatural things that are in my body. All right. So when you're cleansing, all the unnatural things that are in your intestines and things like that, all of them comes out. Unnatural meaning all the bad things that you've been eating starts cleaning out of all your intestines. So mucus that is stuck in your nose and stuck in your system, all of that is stuck in your tubes, starts flushing out of your body because you're starting to cleanse it. So it starts literally coming out of and seeping out of your pores, right? Or your nose or your earlobes. Like it starts doing that. So mostly because of my nose, right? And so I'm like blowing my nose and I'm sneezing and I'm coughing, and they're like, "Oh my God, blow your nose." And so I'm blowing my nose, and and they're just being like really like focused on that. But at the same time, my baby sister is like, "Come on, you only have this much time," because it's a speed live. And so I'm doing all of that, and again, you see my older brother just popping in, "Blow your nose," and you see my older sister like, "Show the box. Oh my God, can you wipe your nose? It's so sloppy," and it's so annoying. Like, really, and so they got mad because I responded to them the way they were treating me. And so while the live's happening, like, she starts inboxing me these ugly things, like these ugly things about me, like being personal, right? And I ignore it. Like, I ain't got no time for that. Like, you don't want me to respond the same way you was responding to me. Like, seriously, you don't. Because I can be ugly. Like, really ugly. Because I know me. Again, nobody knows me like I know me. And I know me, and I'm worse. Like, I am more hard on me than you can ever be hard on me. Believe me. And you want to be ugly? I'm more ugly on me than you are. Trust me. And so, like, because, like, you ugly on me, I can be 2 times as ugly on you. And I know this. Like, you come at me to hurt me. Yo, I come at you to demolish you. And I know this. So, because I know how I am, I let it go. And no, but she kept coming, because the DM kept popping up. And she wanted me to read it because she kept coming at me while I was on live. And then she came at me on the chat in public. You know what I mean? And then she went to my older brother because he kept coming at me on the chat. And my little sister was like, what are you doing? What are you know? And this is happening all at the same time. So, of course, I'm feeling attacked, right? And then I'm like, oh my God. So, after the live, we're all relaxing. Everything's done. Half of it is sold. Everything's being sold because I'm throwing it on. The hats that weren't sold the week before, nobody was buying it. So I'm throwing it on because the people are like, oh my God, Lala, like, you look fierce, and I'm like, yeah, I'm working it. So people are like, oh my God, I want to buy it. I was like, you know what? I was like, ladies, I was like, you should get these, And so I throw this black hat on, and the lady's like, I want to buy the black hat. If Lala throws on the red one, I want the red one. So I throw on the red one. She buys the red one. And the lady's like, if you can work the pink one, girl. And I throw on the pink one. And the lady's like, oh, forget it. Like, I'll take the pink one too. So so all 3 hats that couldn't be sold for the last month was sold. And so I didn't take no credit for it. My thing was like, oh, yay, we sold the hat. So I wasn't trying to even take any accommodations or any credit for it. My thing was, yes, we did a great job. So after that, right, after the live, all I really wanted her to say was this. You were being a big B after Sunday's live. Like, you didn't have to do what you said because you were being a big B. And the person that she bought in for a shoot was saying the same thing. But she wanted to listen to him instead of me. And I'm her sister. And I've been with her, rolling with her the whole time this happened, the live. I was by her side, not him. But she can sit there and listen to him and his criticism and not mine. So we were talking, and she was like, and so he was like, and she was telling her husband, which is my brother-in-law. She's like, Ian, Lisa, when I came in, she was being a really big B from the last live. Like, I was like, this morning, I was like, you're being a really big drama queen. And she was like, no, I wasn't. And I was like, yes, you were. And I was agreeing with him, the shooing. I was like, Ian, after the last live, I was telling her, Lisa, you don't have to be, and she was like, no, you weren't. You didn't say that. And I was like, yeah, all I said was, ladies, don't sleep on this, like the FICA Gala glasses. She's like, no, you didn't say that. You were saying something completely different. I said, no, I know exactly what I said. And I said, just like the FICA Gala glasses, you guys are going to sleep on these ladies, and it's going to be sold out again, and you guys are going to regret it. And you came at me like I said something completely different. She's like, no, you said something completely different, and you were saying something so hateful. I was like, no, you were coming at me and attacking me like I did. And I didn't feel like arguing with her. So I just stood up, grabbed all my stuff, and I left. And she ignored me. And so I grabbed my stuff, ignored everybody, told my son, grab my stuff. I don't need this negativity. And I picked up my stuff, and I left. Everybody was eating dinner, and I ignored all of them. Came into my room in my own little quiet place and asked God, was I such, have I been such a bad sibling to all of them? Like, really? Like, I've been attacked by all of them this whole week. Like, and then I read my messages from my older sister, right? My older sister, no, this is supposed to be my older sister. Let me tell you guys about my older sister. All our life, I've taken on her responsibilities as an older sister. This sister of mine was always irresponsible. I've always picked up after her responsibility, after her irresponsibleness, after her faults. And she couldn't pick up after herself. I've covered her ass when she was supposed to do things, and when my mom thought she did it, it was me, so my mom wouldn't be disappointed. I made my younger siblings respect her as her older siblings. And I picked up after her whole life. And I was always responsible. I looked after her more than she looked after me. Every time she was drunk, I picked up after her. When she was drunk and acting the fool, I was the one holding her head, puking, waiting up for her. When she was hurt, I was wiping her tears. When she was hungry, I made her food. When she was out at night, I waited up for her. I made her food. I fed her. When she slept drunk with food, with her face down on food, I cleaned her up, gave her a shower, put her to bed. That was me. And when I sat and I read her texts, and she was like, you need to get over yourself and stop feeling sorry for yourself and stop doing the whole self-pity role and doing the whole, my siblings are picking on me. You're always playing that role. I said, it's so great to know that you guys all talk about me. Like always. And I asked God, was I always a bad sibling to them? And then God lifted a new veil. And I read my devotion again. And I sat in quietness and in tears. Because I was crying. Because I love my siblings. I was always loyal to my siblings. Everything was my siblings. My strength was for them and my mama. Everybody knew me as, if you F with my siblings, I will F you up. I sat in tears that night because I was so hurt. And I read my devotion again. In my quietness and in confidence, I shall be your strength. But because this devotion forgot to put I didn't understand it. And then I read it again with my heart this time. And I read, in quietness and in confidence, I shall be your strength. This devotion forgot the most important letter. I. The I is the most important letter because the I is the only person I need. The I is God. And the I is the only person that ever believed in me in my whole life. And he lifted the veil that day, that night. And this is what I said on my Instagram to myself because nobody watched. Real quick before I go to bed. Okay. And it's a really crazy day. And my day started at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, my daily devotion was Isaiah 30, verse 15, and it said, in quietness and in confidence, in quiet and in confidence, I shall be your strength. Okay. So I started, I'm a pastor's daughter, right? My daddy's a pastor. And, I've always, and if you haven't noticed, I'm like poly. Like, it's hard to see. But, like, well, you can tell. But I'm poly mix. My daddy's a pastor, and I've always, if you're poly, you're raised more to fear God, right? And I'm gonna tell you this: you don't have that relationship with God. If you're raised to fear God, you don't have that one-on-one relationship with God, right? Until you grow up and you learn God yourself. And as an adult, I went through my own troubles and I've learned God myself. And you have to do that on your own. And I think that's what God wants. I mean, not just for you, but for you to learn it on your own. You have to go through your trials and your own tribulations, and that's the best way. That is like the best way ever, because you learn how to appreciate Him more on your own. You know, without your parents helping you, because you break and He picks up the pieces, and you appreciate Him more, and you love on Him more, and He can love you where you're at. Anyway, so whatever. So not whatever, but you know what I mean. So this whole week has been hectic, right? I go through this whole founding thing, right? Oh my god, I'm like so hash, like, and it's not even about me right now. But like, I go through this whole week, and I'm like busy, like, I mean, you see my posts. I'm like literally like half sleeping. I'm like running around, picking up my son, and my eyelashes like going, but I really don't care right now. And I'm trying not to keep right now because it's bug gathering, and I'm like trying to make a point, but my eyelashes is like bugging me right now. And this is the thing that happened with a single mom, and like I'm trying to go to sleep, and like I gotta make a point, and this is like not happening. So yeah, like that. Anyway, so and like, okay, so like in the past 2 weeks, my baby daddy hits me up, right? And this is a toxic relationship that I like got rid of. Like, I walked away after 7 years, and this is a guy that I loved since 4th grade. Like, I had a crush on this guy since 4th grade. I'm gonna rip it off, but I don't want to. Like, 4th grade. Like, I loved this guy since 4th grade. Like, I had a baby with this guy, and, anyway, so I loved this guy since 4th grade, and, well, I had 2 kids with this guy, and, anyways, and so, God lifts this veil, right, with this guy, and allows me to have this whole, like, epiphany, and I finally know how it feels to be, like, loved, like, feel, like, this unreal kind of, like, love, like, unadulterated, like, joy. Like, I went to church and I felt, like, happy. Like, I was so happy. Like, I literally stopped and like Sunday night I came home and I was like, wow, God,
I'm like, thank you so much for making me feel so happy. Like I felt like this joy, like the joy of the Lord is my strength. Like that saying was true to the T on Sunday night. And so I was like, wow. I was like, thank you so much, Lord. So much so, like after church, like I went and I took my brother out to lunch, my brother and his family, and I was telling them about what happened Saturday, right, afternoon, when the whole epiphany thing happened with my baby daddy. And I was like, yo, do you know what God showed me? And I told him about how shady my baby daddy was, and how God showed me, like, after all those years, that this man had no kind of, like, one sort of, like there was no sort of, like, genuine love for me. Like, it was always something that I was trying to, like, portray to, like... Do you know how females, like, kind of build up things in their own imagination to be like, oh my God, he loves me. No, he don't love you. You know what I mean? You're just building it up to make it seem like he loves you, but he don't love you. You know what I mean? And like, they kind of build it up, and they're like, and if he does it, like, oh, he loves me. No, he don't love you. No, it's you putting it out there, and if he does it, then he loves you. No, he don't love you. And don't do that, because you're setting yourself up for a heartache. Break your own heart, love, and move on with your life. Because then you save yourself years of disappointment and years of waiting for this dumbass to realize that you're this woman when there's another man out there that'll appreciate you, and you can probably be making a baby with a man that is worthy of you and that'll appreciate you more. And God is telling you to let this man go. And anyways, so again, my eyelashes. So I told my brother this, and he's like, "Oh, great." Alright, so I put a post, right? And then God's telling me about my two boys. So I'm appreciating my sons, and I put a post on Facebook, right? Appreciating my two boys, and I posted on Facebook. So I'm like, my two boys make me feel like, I blogged, and I love my two boys. Like, I feel secured and this and this. So I'll praise my two boys, and I'll post in a picture of my two boys, my baby, the 10-year-old, and it was a day, like, me and him went out, and we had, like, an outing, and he was talking about his boxing and stuff like that, and how he was confident. It was a great day for me and him. Actually, it was an awesome day, because he was actually telling me how he felt about his dad leaving, and he was actually venting, right? Mind you, my son just kicked the crap out of something, and he just spilled the crap out of my drink. And it's spilling at this moment. See? Think about my issues. Bug, hey, you need to scoot over, because you're having one of your moments where you start kicking stuff, alright? So you're gonna stare at me? Or you know what you're doing? Okay. It's like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm still not even done with this video. On top of this, I gotta go shower. And I gotta get up and I'm cooking when I can. Okay. And, so I posted a video. And, I'm so tired. And I ended up taking a nap, alright? Before I gotta go and, cook dinner. So, I ended up falling asleep, taking a nap. My brother calls, my big brother, and he's like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay. Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm okay." And, "Hey, bud, can you pass my wipes?" And, he's like, "I'm okay." He's like, "Are you okay?" And, no, I said, "I'm okay. Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I just want to make sure you're okay." I said, "Oh, I'm fine."
Sorry, guys.
Don't mind me. So don't judge me. And I'm like, I said, thank you for asking. I said, I miss you. You know, and he's like, well, I miss you too. He goes, I was just calling because your post. And I was like, oh. I was like, yeah. I was like, hey. I said, you know, so, and I'm kept giving him updates on my baby. And about his boxing tournament that's coming up. And he's like, you know, some people might think that that's kind of, you know, do you think it's okay? And I said, yeah. He goes, okay, as long as you think it's okay. And I was like, okay. And he was like, no. He's like, just a day ago, you had a post talking about your son's dad and about him, about you deserving to be loved and him not being able to love on you. And I'm like, I said that God removed the veil and about him having his own issues and about me realizing that this man had no emotions towards me whatsoever and that God's been trying to show me that it was never me that wasn't good enough. It was him that was never good enough for me and my son. And me, that I just needed to finally realize this, that it wasn't God stopping me from him from me. It was God stopping us from him. And then he was like, and then today, you're like posting a picture of you posing in front of a mirror and your son watching you. I was like, it was me and my son in front of a mirror. I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, you know, some people might take it as like inappropriate that your son is watching you in front of a mirror. I was like, are you trying to say what I think you're trying to say? And he was like, oh, I don't know. How are you taking it? I said, I'm not taking it. No. I was like, anyhow. I said, anyway. I said, how are you trying to present it? And he was like, as long as you think it's okay. And he hangs up. And so I'm like, okay. And I lay down. And then like, as soon as I hang up, 2 minutes later, I'm like laying down. And the Holy Spirit just jumps up. And I'm like, pierces my heart, and I'm like, whoa, and I get up and I start bawling, and because my heart wasn't thinking like that, because I'm like, this is my brother, right? But no, oh no, I started crying so hard, and the first thing I did was like, Lord, please don't let this be, like, this is my big brother, why would he be thinking like that, you know? And I just, like, at the end of my big brother, I was like, bruh. And I told him, I said, you hurt my heart just now. I was like, how could you ever think like that? Like, I said, the devil's a liar. And I told him just like that. I said, the devil's a liar. I said, you know. I said, just so you know. I said, your baby sister. I said, did an awesome work. Today, this week on Sunday, I said, just so you know. I made an awesome heart piece. I said, you have no idea. Because this week, there's like this big thing that's going on for Easter. And I planted like a big seed for it, and they're actually like, they do like this big altar call at the end of this thing that happens, and they like call people to the altar, like save souls. And I plant like seed, like this big seed, not just for me, but for my siblings, you know, because I'm like really excited because I want to see what God can do for my siblings. And I told him, I said, I don't know, but your baby sister kind of kind of planted a seed, from all my siblings, because I'm really excited to see, like, what God can do for my siblings, And he was like, what? I said, but you know what? I said, but I love you. I said, because I know, God's going to do awesome things in my sibling's life, I said, but as good as God is, I know that, I said, I can see the devil's works too, And I didn't say nothing after that. And I left it at that. I said, but I don't expect any praise from you. Nor do I expect any, any good words from anybody. Because I know you guys only see me from my past. And I left it at that. And then that was like that day. That was like 2 weeks ago. And then, like, that was 2 weeks ago. And then it was my older sister today. And then it was my baby sister last week. And it's just been happening, like, my siblings left and right. Like, just, my baby sister, now she's a baby. I have 7 siblings. Now, my baby sister talks to me, like disrespect me so many times. And I'm over here, like, swallow it. Just the other night, I'm, like, talking to God. And I'm like, yo, God, I've started my life late. Because I allowed these guys to, like, go out and venture and start their life. And I stayed home and I took care of my mom. And these guys came back and they're like, you're so this and you're so that. And they had opinions, like opinions. Of course they did, because you're the last one to leave, right? And I'm like, yo, am I that bad as a sibling? And I'm asking God this, right? Am I that bad as a sibling? And I had to check myself, because you always check yourself. So I'm checking myself. And I'm like, really, God, am I? And I'm like, and I'm checking myself, and I'm like, am I, I'm like, my mama, she's, like, really strict, She's like a pastor's wife. I'm probably a pastor's wife, so she's really strict. She beat your ass, My mama checked me. And out of all my siblings, my mama, she made me do for my siblings. She treated me like the redheaded stepchild. Like, kind of like, if my sister's crying, and if me and my sister's bleeding at the same time, my sister's more of an emergency than me. So I gotta go give her my Band-Aid, and I sit there bleeding. The redheaded stepchild. That's how my mama made me. So I know that because I was the last one to leave the house, my mama made me treat them like kings and queens. So I know that I wasn't a bad sibling to them. So their opinions of me are their opinions of me. Not how I was, because my mama made me be nice to them. And she didn't have dementia until I came back. So, and God made me see that the other night when I was venting town. How was that? So the whole time I'm feeling bad because I'm thinking, oh my God, Lord, I'm a bad person. Oh my God. So all these years, literally, like, guys, I was, like, literally crying the other night, like, breaking down crying, like, oh my God, Lord, please forgive me. And God literally, like, lifted this burden from me. And I think this is what it was. In its quietness and confidence, I shall be your strength. All these years, I'm feeling like crap. Because I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a bad sibling. I'm such a bad sibling. And then today, all of them, like, one by one, you have no idea. keep my peace. And all I've done in the past 3 weeks have been, oh, okay. Yep. Alright. Today, my older sister, my baby sister, decides to do a marathon on our business without telling me. So, in the middle of me doing a broadcast, my podcast, and picking up my son at the same time, just getting back from working out, rushing home. We got a marathon going on, so I gotta do all that, rush home, and do that too. And then on that, my older sister's in the live, like, oh, what's your problem? I'm only telling you what the customers are telling me. It's not about you, and it's not about me. At the same time, my baby sister's in the back of the camera yelling at me, like, what's taking you so long? And I'm like, oh, hell. And my baby brother is on the side of me, saying, hey, pass me the box. My older brother comes on and says, blow your nose. Mind you, I'm still sick. You gotta get on my nerves. So, I'm still trying to figure out. And I'm still trying to figure out, like, what the heck. But I believe, so Easter, right? Easter Sunday is the thing that's gonna happen. The rally thing that's gonna happen where they're gonna do the hologram. So Easter Sunday is when they're gonna have the Ark of Safety there, where they're gonna have people and you know what? I literally sold a whole lot of stuff. Like for real. So it's like an Easter egg hunt, like extravaganza thing, where they invite the whole community, right? And so the church, invites the whole community, and then the church souls into this and it's free everything. And there's carnival rides, and then they give away food, and they give away clothes, and people come in there, and then they get entertainment, and they open this closet, and they give away household items to people in need, right? And so I went to the church. This is my brother's church, my baby brother's church, and my baby brother's always been oh, you need to come to our church. So I'm okay. So I finally went to church, and then with my baby brother, he's so on, he wants to know God, but then remember I told you, when my father, being a pastor, so my pastor, growing up in a Samoan pastor's house, we were raised Old Testament, right? So you're raised to fear God. Your relationship with God is not how your relationship with God, how it is with in Polynesian family, it's to fear God, they're raised Old Testament. So my brother, it was hard for him to adapt. So when I started my walk, I had to break down I had to break it down for him so that he would understand, like, it wasn't Old Testament. Like, it was more based on your relationship, your personal relationship with God. Like, God wants a relationship with you. Like, you don't fear him. Like, he wants a relationship with you. Like, when Jesus came down and died for your sins, like, he wants a personal relationship with you. And he's like, why was mom telling us? So I had to do the whole, never mind what mom was saying. Oh, so mom was wrong this whole time? You know, it was more like that. So I kind of had to break my brother's heart and tell him, like, no, mom wasn't wrong. He was like, oh my God, so you're telling me, mom? Yeah. Long story. Because my baby brother was stuck on my mama's Chi-Chi milk his whole life. So, my baby brother was my mama's baby. So, yeah. Anyway. So now that he goes to this church, he's like, I just wanted to show him my support. So, he was talking about the Easter thing. And I just kind of wanted to sew into it. So, because we own a whole jewelry company, I was like, oh, I had like my stash, you know, in my room. So I kind of dug through all my baskets and stuff, and keep everything. Had like bags and stuff that I never used, and kind of just threw it in my car one day, jewelry that I never opened, and went to the church. I was like, hi, and he was like, hi. I was like, I want to donate jewelry. And she's like, sure. Of course, my sister-in-law was like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I got jewelry to donate. And she was like, can I look to him? And I'm like, no. And see, that's the thing. My thing is this. Money don't mean anything to me. One thing. That was one thing with me. My whole life. My mama always told me this. Money don't mean nothing to me. And that's the difference between me and all my siblings. Because I was the one that stayed home the longest, I was raised with more values. Because I was the one that was the last one to leave, and I was the one that took care of her. I was the one raised with more values. And my mama said this, Lena, don't you ever argue or allow your siblings to argue about money. No matter what, when it comes to money, don't you ever argue with money when it comes to your siblings. If they argue with money, you stand up and you walk away. Because money is the root of all evil. I said, okay, Mom. She goes, promise. And I said, I promise, Mom. And until this day, I do. No matter what. No matter what. Whenever my siblings ask me for money, and they're like, hey, can I borrow? Or can I ask you how much? I don't even ask why. I just say, how much? And then I give it to them, and I don't ask for it back. I never ask for it back. Because my mama said, never, like, no. Because money is evil. And I never do. But the funny part is, they do. They do. But then that's them, not me. And so the whole jury thing was like, my sister, like, I wanted to donate it because it was my whole heart. Like, I just wanted to give. And it was sitting here for like a couple months. And I told my sister, like, why would you do that? And she's like, well, you know, it's new, and I jury. I was like, Tanya, I was like, those are for people that need, like, they don't have nothing. Like, why would you do that? And she was like, I was just joking. No, you weren't. And then when I took it to the church, and the lady saw that it was new, the lady at the table, she was like, oh my God, is it okay if I look through them first? I was like, no. Anyways, my thing is this. I realized, like, ever since, the whole unveiling thing, like, the whole next level thing, like, every time God takes me to another level, and He's, like, removing these veils, like, is it, like, people, like, these are my siblings? I feel like I gotta be more, like, dig, like, I gotta be deeper, and, like, when I study, and, like, real quick before I go to bed.
So, that was what I was talking about on Tuesday. And I said that I feel as if, like, that when that hit me, like, I realized, like, God is telling me, like, I need to go higher. Like, I need to elevate myself higher. My mind needs to be stronger than my emotions. I need to separate my mind from my emotions. My spirituality needs to be stronger than my emotions. And so I'm learning that your spirituality and self-love and the body is tied into one. Because while I am learning God, because before I thought, okay, your walk with God is God. Everything is God, 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 God. Learning God is just indulging in God. But this time, God is opening me up to a deeper level of Him. Because I'm desperate. Like, I want to know Him. And I asked to know Him all because I wanted to dig deep. And I wanted to fast. And I wanted to know. And when I started fasting, I wanted to dig deeper into fasting. And because I wanted to dig deeper into fasting, it led me to wanting to know about fasting. And because I wanted to know the health benefits about fasting as well, it got me to learning about the alkaline life. And then the alkaline life got me to learning about, and it just started happening. Everything just started falling into line. And then about everything. God just started pointing me in directions. And everything started pointing to everything else. And it all tied in together. The alkaline diet ended up that I needed to find my center. And the center was God. And God tied into my diet. And being nothing but natural. And the natural life ended up being with God, and God was talking about being centered, and the only way of being centered was controlling your mind and your thoughts, and your thoughts and your mind had to be one with your body, and your body had to be pure. And the way that your body is pure is by controlling your mind. And with controlling your mind, you need to get rid of your emotions. Not really your emotions, but controlling your thoughts. And the only way you control your thoughts is by what? Meditating. And the only way you meditate is what? By controlling your emotions. So everything tied into each other. And so the whole self-love thing was, God had to open my heart. Because again, when I started learning about the fasting, Dr. Miles, who taught me about the fasting, that I learned fasting, taught me that unless my heart allows it, my mind is not going to learn it. And I had to hear that in order for my heart, in order for my brain to even allow, in order for my heart to even allow my brain to hear anything that was going to happen after that. Because if I heard anything else before that, I heard that part, when he said that, my brain wouldn't allow anything before that. I heard that man say, you will not learn anything unless your heart allows your mind to learn. Because love will allow your brain to learn anything. When I heard that, I said, wow, that's true. He says, love is the anchor of everything. Love drives you to learn everything. Love drives you to learn everything. And that's true. Because right after that, everything happened. Domino effect. The veil started lifting. I started reading about self-love. I started digging into the Word of God more. I started reading about the alkaline diet and how I can get more healthier. I started digging into self-help books. I started digging into the path of prosperity and how to separate the difference between the lessons of evil and everything. Like the obedience is complying and willing to comply, and the orders of submissive to another will. Evil is a must and understood and experienced heart. Like evil is you have no idea. Like the level. And then I realized then I was thinking like in the beginning, when I wanted to share the revelations and the stuff that God was doing, I never did that. When I wanted to share the veil lifting, I never did that. And I wanted to share it, and I wanted to share it with my siblings, because that's something I never did. With all the things that God did in my life, and how good God was in my life, and they were there because they were standing next to me. I wanted to share it, and I never did. I never did with anybody, even though they were there, and they saw everything that God did for me, and they can attest to it. They never did. They made me stand there and look like an idiot. Like I was a crazy woman. You know why? Because not everybody is there to enjoy your blessings with you. Not everybody is there to celebrate your blessings with you. Even though they were there and they experienced God's working in your life with you, not everybody is there to celebrate your blessing with you. Because as much love that I have for my siblings, that is not the same love that they have for me. And as much times as they've seen how God was good in my life and the miracles He's worked in my life, and they can attest for everything that happened in my life and the things that He's done in my life, they will not. I don't know why. That's on them. But I don't care. Because it's my story. I know how good my God was to me. Because that's between my God and me. And when God finds it's time for me, and He finds me a platform for me to share my story when He's ready, and He finds time when it's on His time, I will share it when He gives me a platform. Because when I shared it and I thought they were going to be happy that I finally opened my mouth to glorify God, instead of saying, yep, that's my sister. Not one of them commented on my post. Not one of them. Not one of them liked it. Anything that happened to me, after God has done His work in me, I've not yet heard one, you're doing great. Oh, you're doing awesome. I don't need it, but it's great to hear it. I hear it from my baby brother. I don't hear it from anybody else. You know what I hear? I hear scoldings. Try not to tell them about this. Hey, be careful what you talk about when it comes to my kids. Hey, and then their kids. Yeah, my niece on Christmas. Yeah. Hey, Auntie, how does it feel to be the third wheel? In front of her parents. Nobody said anything. It's okay. I will take it with humility. Like today at the beach, I let everything go. I wish nothing but peace, love, and joy. And I don't even mean that with sarcasm. I actually mean that with my whole heart. With my whole heart, I mean that with everything. Because I know with all of me, not everything is going to be better and way off. Because I am on a whole nother level, and this is just the beginning. And I thank them for this spiritual awakening, because I am just getting started. They just awoken They just awoken me to go higher. They just awoken me to go higher in who I want to be in God. Honestly, they awoken me to go higher. And so let me just read this. It says, as a flower opens its petals, receive light in the morning. So open your soul more and more to the glorious light of truth. How's that? Embroidering love until freed from all hatred, passion, and condemnation. Embrace it all, the whole universe without thoughtful tenderness. As a flower opens its petals. To receive light in the morning. So open your soul to more and more to the glorious light of truth. How's that? Isn't it awesome? It says, soar upward upon the wings of an aspiration. Be fearless in the loftiness of possibilities. It says, believe in absolute meekness. Is possible. Believe that a life of perfect holiness is possible. Believe in the realization of the highest truth is possible. It says, the battlefield of the human soul, there are two masters contending for the kingship and dominion of the heart. There is the master of self, which is called the prince of the world, and there's the master of truth, which is the Father God. And then the master of self has rebellious, and the weapons are passion, pride, averse, vanity, and self-will. And the implement is darkness. The master of truth, which is Father God, has meek, lovely, whose weapons are gentleness, peace, purity, sacrifice, humility, love, and the instrument is of light. And it says, truth of one reality is the universe, the inward harmony, the perfect justice, the eternal love. Nothing can be added to it, nor taken from it. It does not depend on any man, but all men depend on it. It does not depend on any man, but all men depend on it. You cannot perceive the beauty of truth while you are looking out of the eyes of self. If you are vain, you will see color. You will color everything with your vanity. You color everything with your vanity, yeah. It says, he who has the truth as at peace with thoughts of love. Men enslaved by self, passion, proved and condemnatory, believe practical creed and religion to be true, but all religions to be error. They proselytize with passion. There is only but one religion, and the religion of there is only one religion, and the religion is truth. He has truth at peace. Cherish all thoughts and thoughts of mild, and there is gentle and humility, love, and hope. See? So, that's where I'm at right now. And my schedule and my regimen for today was this. So, 4:38, I got up, meditation. 6:30, I did prayer. 7 o'clock was tea. I think today was ginger. 7:30, I left the house. 8 o'clock, I did journal. 9 to 10:30, time with God. 10:30 to 11:30, morning swim and exercise. 11:31 to 1:50, I did reading. Expanding my mind and faith by doing my studies and getting into the Word. And then 1:50, I started prepping for my podcast. And then throughout my day, I kind of do my whole cleansing thing by sticking to my herbal teas. I only stick to herbal teas, where I kind of stay with ginger, jasmine, peppermint, passion fruit. I kind of stick to just herbal teas itself. When I drink something, it'll be water and cranberry. I don't do anything else but water, cranberry, and teas. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. Because I'm doing a cleansing fast, and I'm trying to cleanse everything that is toxic, and trying to do a whole deeper connection, a spiritual connection with God, and a whole cleansing within myself, and get into my whole healthy living, so I can become one, not just by body, spirit, and mind with God, and in a deeper connection, because I owe it to myself, not just to myself, but to God Himself, and to my kids and my siblings, because I feel that we all can be saved by it, even though they don't believe in me. God does, and I forgive them no matter what. But that is where I'm at today, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I forgot my shout outs, but I've never forgotten my boy Eric Loco. So shout out to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Blazy 98.5, and Bounce 107. And I appreciate my boy Eric Loco, and I always hold him up in prayer, and his kids as well, because without him believing in me, I wouldn't be on this. And I believe that this is just a platform, and this is just a beginning. And you guys have a blessed night. Just know that there is no such thing as this is it, or is what it is, because it never is what it is. There is always something else. There is always something else, and there is always something better. Just know that, okay? The mind is an endless possibilities of what you make it. Trust me. Like, my mind feels so awakened right now. It is just amazing. It is amazing. Like, I shut off everybody. Like, I haven't gone on Facebook. Like, I shut it down. Like, I read, and it was like, can you go without money? Like the whole meditating thing is about giving up self, right? The whole dominion thing, giving up self to God. And it's like, can you give up self, yourself to God? And it's like, can you give up money to God? And I was at the swimming, and I was doing my morning exercising. And I remember how I told you guys, like, I never appreciated my mama more than I've appreciated her today. Because all my life, I resented my mama and the way she raised me. Because my mama treated me, if you guys heard in the video, like the redheaded stepchild. Because my mama never had a heart-to-heart with me. My mama always treated me mean. Like, she never had a heart-to-heart with me. When I fell down, my mama was the one that said, hey, get up. When I had a heartbreak, are you still crying? That was my mama with me. when it was my sister then, oh, you okay? My mom would never cater to me. But I know why now. Because my mama knew that they would treat me like how they treat me now. And she always told me, don't you ever leave your brother. You always look out for your baby brother. Because she knew they were going to leave him out. And they do. They always talk about my baby brother. They always leave him out of everything. They never explain anything to him. And I'm always the one looking out for him. I'm always the one breaking things down to him. I'm always the one helping him. I'm always the one giving him money when he's short-handed. I don't know how, because I'm always short-handed myself, but God gives me the means, and I help him, and we help each other. But my mama knew way before. And that's what I said today. Now I know why. But it doesn't matter what they think. And God helped me see that the other night when he started lifting up the veils. And God, I think, is starting to lift up the veils. How many veils were there? I'm going to start reading that story in the Bible, because I think there were like 7. How many, the veils? I think there were 7, right? Because there were 2. That's just 2. No, 2. Yeah. I'm going to read though. I know it's something. I got to read. Anyways, but yeah. But stay woke. There's always signs and symbols about everything. Like, I don't catch on to it until there's God has, and I still trying to know, I asked God, for the past week, can you please tell me my guardian angel's name so I can, call my name? Because, everybody has a guardian angel. You guys know that, right? Everybody has a guardian angel. Every person is assigned a legion of angels. You guys know that, right? Okay, now you know that. Okay. So, yeah. And so, yeah. That's what's been happening. But that's what's going on. And so I'm just excited. And I'm excited to learn more. I'm hungry. And I'm in such awe, and my mind is awakened. My spirit is bright, and I am so in love with God, and I want to open my heart more to understand this empathy. I want to understand this compassion. I want to understand humility more. I want to understand meekness. I want to understand why God gave me this heart to feel people's pain. And where he wants to use me with this. Because that's what I've always asked him my whole life. Why? You gave me this heart. For people. But, like I said, thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Stay woke. When I say stay woke, learn everything you can. Know that there's a balance between spirituality. Spirituality is not just what you learn about God. Spirituality is loving God enough to take care of his temple. His temple is not just your body. His temple is what you feed yourself. His temple is what you feed your mind. His temple is what you harbor in your heart. Because what comes into your mind, what he thinketh, is what he saith. What he saith is what he harbors. What he harbors is what he keeps in his mind. What he keeps in his mind is what he thinks is in his soul. What he bears in his soul is what he has in his heart. And what he has in his heart is what he thinks of God. And what he has in his inside is eventually what he shows on his outside. And if God is the creator of all, and all of you is what belongs to him, then all that you are should be dedicated to him. So everything that you do should be about learning him. To be of him and be like him. Yes, until that day comes, we're going to be we're still going to be of this world. We know he's going to know we're going to fail. But then you know what? There's books like that that's going to tell us how that we're going to fail. Evil is another sign of ignorance because you choose not to be delivered from evil. Evil is when you choose not to learn from your mistakes and you choose not to go and be like, okay, what is it you want me to learn from this? Obviously, I still didn't get this out of my system. I still want to go over there and gamble. So you go and you gamble. And you lose. You still never learn. You still go over there and lose money. Lose your house. Lose your car. Lose your kids. What do you want to learn? Evil is ignorance. Evil is not going to go away until it teaches you what it needs to teach you. And then you get rid of it. You extract it and leave it alone. But men refuse to learn. So evil will always dwell. But it still lurks. But the devil cannot come in unless you invite him. The Holy Spirit dwells. Jesus dwells. Devil cannot unless you invite him. He can't harm you unless you invite him. You're covered by the blood of Jesus. He hung himself. He walked Calvary for you and me. He bled for you and me to cover us. So that you will be safe. Do him a favor. Stop being ignorant. You know, PJ, I'm starting to teach him. Because you know why? Because I don't want him to be ignorant. He's 10 years old. I'm teaching him the path of prosperity. I'm teaching him how to meditate. You know why? Because I refuse the day God takes me for him to feel like how I feel. And only find out why my mom did what she did and treated me like the redheaded stepchild. because my son has nobody. It's just him. He has nobody. His natural parents are too busy being themselves, being ignorant in the world out there. Praising the other God. Self. But my son, he prays only one God because there's only one God. There's only one Alpha, one Omega, only one beginning, and only one end, because there's only one story, and only one world, one earth, and only one God that will breathe life in you. And that's the same God. That is the beginning and the end. And he knows it. And you cannot serve two gods. And he knows that too. But out of respect of God, there is only one religion, and that is truth. And God is truth. And because God said to teach your children in the way they should go, so they should never depart from it, I will teach my son in the way that he should go. And that should be to walk in the light. Because above all dead formalities and lifeless ignorance, thus walking in the highway of wisdom with the mind fixed upon the spotless truth, you shall know no hating place and short of trial and truth. 5 great meditations: love, pity, compassion, joy. And it says, Christian meditation, ceaselessly upon the spotless purity and divine excellence of the character of Jesus, and apply this in every prospect to your inner life and outward conduct, so as to a proximity more and more outward, his perfection. Do not as those religious ones that, refusing to meditate upon the law of truth and to put into a practice, perspective, and given to them by their master, content and formally worship, to cling to their particular credits, and to continue careless round of sin and suffering and strife, and rise by the power of meditation above all selfishness, and cling to practical gods and practice creativity. And that is not my son. So, people, know better, but to each his own. Like I said, this is my story, this is my opinion, and this is the way I'm going to raise my son. God gave him to me and trusted me. God believes in me that he's gonna give me the 2 boys that he's already given me in my life, and entrusted me that I'm going to guide them in the way that they should go, so that he can use them to his glory, to glorify him and to edify him in the way he wants to. So he just gave it to me. I trained them the way that he wants me to, and he used them. That's how he used them, just like the older one. I trained him, and he used them. And that's how life should be. The people that they came from, he deals with them. I don't. I pray for them, forgive them, wish them well, and God deal with them. That's not my problem. And while I'm going through these studies, the whole time I'm thinking I'm this bad person because of the way people, judge me and this and that. The whole time, God's seeing, Letta, you've been living righteous. You've been doing this the whole time. It wasn't you. It was people judging you. And I'm crying this whole time. God's teaching me this. God's making me see this. God made me. I'm thinking the whole time, like, oh my God, God, I'm like this bad person. But God's seeing, showing me, like, you wasn't even all that bad. Not as bad as you thought it was. See yourself through my eyes. See yourself through my eyes. This is how much I love you. And it makes me love him even more. And it makes me appreciate him even more for believing in me all these years. And I thought he hadn't. It was me that didn't believe in me. And he always believed in me. Unreal. Anyways, let me get off before Eric calls me and be like, are you still on? So, again, shout out to Spotify, iHeartRadio, Blazy 95, and Bonds 107. Mostly my boy Eric Local. You guys have a great night and great evening. Stay blessed. Stay in the light. Always believe in hope. Always believe in faith. Know that God is always there. And surround your guys' self with positivity. Always believe in humanity. Always have empathy towards each other. Pray for hope. Know that love is always enduring, and that forgiveness is always free. Aloha.